Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be doing some more live trading. I know a lot of you guys like that, but let me know if you want to see more live trading videos like this one. The best thing you can do is leave a like down below in the video. Today we're going to be doing some gold trading. I'm going to be talking about a position I have on XAU USD on the long side here, which is working out well so far. We'll see if it can keep playing out well, and we're going to see if we can make some money today. So stay tuned. Let's get into it. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you don't know me, my name is Nick, and I talk all about trading and investing here on my YouTube channel, and I try and keep it real. So when I do these live trading videos, what I usually do is I start the trade, I jump into the trade, and I basically start filming, and whether this is a winner or a loser, we're going to continue to film and put it onto YouTube. So what we're seeing here on gold is, so far the trade has actually gone in my favor. I took this trade last night and I did not want to film it because I was like in my PJs and going to sleep, so I didn't really want to get on the camera at that time. But you can see price is moving slightly in our favor so far, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down exactly why I took this trade. I'm going to share what I shared with VIP members here in just a moment, and we'll go from there. So let's actually start with that. So let me pull this over to the screen, and you can see this is the A1 trading community. If you're not familiar with this, this is a service that myself and my staff offer where you can see trades that are being taken by more experienced traders, as well as join our chat room. We do live webinars as of about a week ago, which is really fun and exciting. We have a guy who basically does online coaching calls with members, which is has been really fun, and I've been enjoying watching them myself. I'm on the camera a lot and I'm doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes too, so it's nice to have someone else who is a kind of pro trader sharing stuff inside of the group. Anyways, gold here, I basically said that this is the alert that I sent out to members. You can see there is the initial trade. Now basically I said my previous entry was early and stopped me out because I took a stop loss on this trade a little bit earlier in the week, but I am taking more than one shot, or I'm taking one more shot here at a long idea. Basically price retesting a level that I think has potential to hold after breaking out. The horizontal support zone in combination with the retest of the descending triangle or trend line gives me a few bullish signals that I'm willing to take a small risk on. That's basically the idea. Now you might say, well Nick, it seems like it's in a downtrend. Why are you buying this thing? But if you look at the daily chart, what you'll notice is that the long-term trend here on gold has been up, and I'm looking to see if I can catch the next swing on this gold move. Now, if you'll notice, we've got this trend line here, and every time price comes up to this point, we've seen selling pressure just until recently. So let's actually zoom in, and what you'll notice is that we've actually, here on the daily bar, we had this big green bar right here that moved higher over that trend line level, and now we saw a pretty steep retest to that zone. I took a stop because I was trying to catch I think I was trying to trade this level, and this got stopped out. Now, when we look at the 4-hour chart, maybe it makes a little bit more sense. The overall long-term trend seems to be up here on gold. And so I'm going to be trying to see if I can catch some of the rebound here after we've broken through a key resistance level on this shorter term counter trend. That's a fancy bunch of words, but basically we've been going down recently, but the long-term trend is up. So I'm looking to see if I can capture the breakout and see if I can ride some of that upward momentum. Now, totally could be wrong about this trade, but I really think that it has a lot of promise. And let me highlight a couple of the reasons why I got involved. Now, again, we looked at this level where we broke higher. Here's what we saw on the daily chart. We saw that nice uptrend. Then we saw the pullback pretty sharp here. But then we came into contact with this downward trend line level that now we're breaking it and retesting that area. To me, this is a pretty good pretty promising area to look for buy opportunities, and we have this kind of counter trend that is holding right now and seems to have been held very nicely so far as well, which is basically this little counter trend uptrend. Let me zoom out so you guys can see behind my camera. We've got this concept here where we put in a double bottom there, we put in a higher low, and fortunately for our trade, another higher low right around where our entry was, which is great. Now, one more thing that gives me confidence about this trade for now is this concept here. Notice how these little candles here, they kind of give away what this level was thinking, right? Price came down to this level after retesting, and what you notice is that we did get some sort of pin bar right there where price tried to go through this level but immediately was bought up, and then there was some follow through into the London and now the New York session. To me, those are good bullish signals that I think have a lot of potential. Now, the big thing for bulls here is to see, and this is where we're going to get into the trade management, if price is able to move higher and we're able to break through structure highs, this is going to be a big thing for me, because I think we could actually see the trend continue on that longer term basis. Now, again, it's a little bit early to tell. We'll see if this one works out, but let's talk about the stop, because I also have a stop in place on this trade. And the idea is basically, you can see we had some support here, some consolidation there, and now we've actually seen this level hold. So if price starts to break through this level, if for whatever reason price just reverses on me and my trade doesn't work out as I had hoped for, I'm probably just going to cut this trade once we get down to about here, which is underneath some structure, right? I gave the stop a little bit of room so that the trade can hopefully, have some room to run, room to breathe, if you will. And that's basically where I've got my risk managed there. Now, my stop is not a giant amount of money, so it's not going to kill me if it gets hit, but it is what it is. It's a way to say, hey, this is where I know that I am incorrect about my idea. So I'm looking to see if the trend continues. If it does, we will let it do so, and I will be trailing my stops as I usually do in these videos. And then if it decides to reverse on me, then I will stop out here for a controlled loss. So that's my plan, and we'll be back with an update to see what happens next. All right, guys, so I want to do a quick update here on the gold position that I currently have open. You can actually see here is where we got involved with the trade initially. So entered into this market off of a pullback after we saw the rise off of this higher low. We basically saw this price pull back pretty sharply, and that's where I got into the trade. Now, fortunately, this trade has gone in our favor pretty nicely so far. Now, when price came up to this previous high last time, it was met with some pretty harsh rejection. And you can actually see we're struggling to get past that level. If we drop it down to the 1 hour chart and zoom out a little bit here, you can actually see that we got into the trade and initially it just ran in our favor, which was great, but we did not quite get to the point where I was ready to move my stop up to break even. So usually, if you're familiar with my strategy, I will enter into the market right around here looking for kind of a continuation of the trend, and then if price moves up to about 1 times my initial risk, which was underneath this structure, then I am basically going to move my stop to break even and to lock in the trade. Now, I very well could have done that just recently. You can actually see price moved up to this point. I have not yet moved price above that, and I'm actually going to break down exactly why that is really quick. So what I would like to see in order to move my stop above, or maybe even to break even or slightly in profit, is I'm actually going to wait to see if we can put in a higher low here. So you can notice we've got 1, 2, 3 times where price put in a nice higher low, which was a really bullish signal and why I'm still in this trade, because it looks good and the bulls continue to hold. But we have this kind of resistance level that I really want to see broken and closed above in order to kind of validate this trading setup. So with that said, what I'm going to be looking for is if price can move and stay above this 1 hour level, I'm going to look for that to hold a little bit before really moving my stop in, because again, I think it could just be in a consolidation phase. And if price comes down to my entry, I don't want to just get whipped out just because I wanted to move my stop to break even. So this is an example of how I might be a little bit, using my price action, using my technicals to move my stops into profit, etc., without trying to just move it just because it moved in my favor a little bit, trail it in. I hope that makes sense. But again, I'm just going to try and be patient here with moving my stop to break even. I do plan to do it if it decides to get a little bit more bullish, but again, I probably will move my stop up to a point where I am slightly in profit, even maybe just below this supportive structure. And then if it breaks that and then we get stopped out, then no big deal. But until that becomes the case, I really would like to see price close strong above this previous high level that I marked right around that 37.62 level. So we'll be back with an update there, but I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts and maybe why I have not moved this stop up into break even at this point. So we'll be back soon with an update. Hopefully we can get this market to keep going in our favor, and that would be ideal. So we'll see what happens. All right, what's up guys? So I woke up this morning and gold was moving heavily in my favor. This is always a cool experience when you wake up in a swing trade and the trade has just moved really nicely in your direction. You can actually see gold this morning spiking up in the New York session and continuing to hold our overall upward bias that we've been talking about. Very, very cool to see your analysis play out. And although it took some time, because you can see, look at all this consolidation choppiness, I mentioned yesterday that I didn't want to just put my stop to break even just because we had hit this point. And the reason was because we were still in this consolidation zone, and I thought it was very possible, as we see here, for price to come down and just retest those lows again. So I didn't want to just get stopped out preemptively just because it came down to the lower portion of the consolidation zone. It's a little bit maybe more advanced than brand new beginner stuff, but the concept here basically being, if a price action movement is in consolidation, I don't want to move my stop right into the chop. Will and I made a joke yesterday. It should be a saying, keep your stop out of the chop. But the idea is, where price is very possible to go, I don't want to put my stop loss there because I run the risk of being chopped out very, very easily. However, now that we've seen the break and close above the top of this range that we were talking about, to me, this is very, very bullish. And from here, I'd like to see this price move in my favor. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and stop out of this trade. So I'm currently running at about 1.4R, let's say 1.3R on this trade, meaning that my initial risk, which was all the way down here, we are now in profit a pretty good amount currently, and looking to see if we can let this one run. So if gold wants to run here, I'm going to stay in the trade as much as possible. And so what that would mean to me is, if price continues to move higher, I will continue to move that stop up into profit till it gets smashed out, and then we'll walk away with a profit. Beautiful, beautiful spot to be in when it comes to trading is when you no longer have risk on the table, but rather have, how much money will the market give me? That's the question that we're asking now. If price continues in my favor, we will go ahead and run this one up and let the profits build as we move that trailing stop in. And who knows, maybe we get a big runner, and it's very possible. Will and I were also talking about this yesterday in the office. If we do see a run back to the highs on gold, which, has been very, prevalent recently, it could actually be a bigger move, and there could be a lot of upside for this. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is that we've got this kind of downward trend, and depending on how you draw this trend line, we are breaking out of it both directions. You can see if we drew it across these highs, we've got the price breaking out above it, and across the longer term high, we've got price breaking out above it, which is a great sign for the bulls, and I think may have some good implication for potential more run up. So we'll see. I'm going to head into the office, meet up with the other people, and I'll keep you guys updated on if anything happens with this gold trade. All right, guys, there it is, the end of the gold trade. Unfortunately, this one ended up being just a break-even trade. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, that is definitely a little bit on the frustrating side. Even, sometimes people get on to me, they say, well, Nick, you've been trading for a while, you should not have any sort of emotions. Well, if you've watched my channel long enough, then you know that I'm not a big believer in removing all of your emotions from your trading. I think the better practice to do is just to find ways to respect and manage your emotions rather than try and ignore that they are there. It is definitely a frustrating situation to sit in a trade for about a week, 2 weeks, and ultimately just get broken even on the trade. That's never fun. I was hoping to see that trade continue. It looked really, really good, and it ultimately just did not work. But I can say that although that is a little bit frustrating, the actions that I took were the correct thing to do. I closed out of my trade due to my rules, due to a price coming back, got me out for break even. It is what it is, and now I've moved on to another trade that's actually already looking good so far. So hopefully that one can make up for some of the lost time. But again, this is just trading, guys. This is the reality of a trade that sometimes looks really good. And this is for an example for those of you guys who don't like trailing stops. This is a good example because this happens where a trade goes in your favor, you don't trail it or you don't take profit, and price comes back, and that's going to happen. It's very frustrating sometimes, but again, it is what it is. I stuck to my rules, and it's on to the next trade. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you weren't let down by the delay or the long video here, but hopefully you got something out of it, and maybe you can play this better than me. I don't know. I'm not the world's greatest trader of all time. I don't proclaim to be. I'm just a normal dude trying to trade my money and invested over time in the markets. So again, let me know in the comments what you think. How would you have done it differently? Obviously, you've got hindsight on your side if you're in the comments section, but still, maybe there's something to be learned either ways. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back in the next video.